All right, and if you're just joining us or staying with us for coverage of the Summer Cup here at Buckmore Park, hello and welcome to all of our SlipStream loyal members. You've got your SlipStream Pass, which means you are joining us here for the finals action down in Kent of the Champions Kart Club Summer Cup. My name is Jake Peach, I'm the commentator for this afternoon. Great to be down in, well, a little bit more my neck of the woods. Drive from Essex down to Kent. Not too much of a journey. I've enjoyed racing around Buckmore Park here purely for fun and pleasure in the past, as much as our drivers will be doing that today as well. There'll also be bragging rights out there, won't there? There always is. And we go straight into our finals then for this afternoon, and longer races because of the finals as a result of that. On pole position, it says second there for Eric Grisbeck, but he is on pole position. It's Ollie Knox, George Lilly, Alexander Mercer, Brandon Lasco, Oliver Jones, Ethan Holbert, Max Skilton, followed by Timon Petchek and Kabir Singh, Dana Cruz Jenkins, Jude Bartlett, Avir Bhatia, and Felix Finn and Charlie Cruttenden. And then I think your final place is towards the back of the grid. Jensen Drummond and Callum Ryan. So we'll see where they all are. This is our timing catching up with itself. And our drivers finding their way towards the grid for a standing start. Remember, our Honda cadets have that standing start. And I don't know what I don't know what Callum Ryan has in mind here, but he's not going to ankle his car that much at the start of things that easily and get away with it in the marshals. So here's Jensen Drummond on pole. Jensen Drummond on pole, Callum Ryan alongside. Further back there you see Ollie Knox, you see Eric Grisbeck behind. That's your front four. The rest of the drivers behind, ready and waiting to go. The red lights go out and we are away into turn one. And look at the start Grisbeck got off of the start-finish line. Brilliant start off the grid. Great traction underneath him there. Grisbeck jumps up Callum Ryan into second place. And Jensen Drummond has a wonderful start himself as well, minding the business of the others going on behind and just focusing on his start by himself. And now he's got the challenge of Grisbeck. Grisbeck was right up there in the other Honda Cadet Honda Cadet races earlier today before the finals. And he's right in the mix for this one. Can't let Jensen Drummond streak out into the lead here at Buckmore Park. Jensen Drummond knows, I don't think it's going to be as easy this time around. Although when Grisbeck goes that wide and they're going to now start battling for second, they're going to lose time. Callum Ryan reinstates second place for himself and is now the one chasing after Jensen Drummond. Look at the point there from Callum Ryan straight away to Grisbeck. Knows that they can't be messing around with each other for second place because they're going to let Jensen Drummond sail off into the distance. Here you go, here's the teamwork starting to come into play here, finally. They're starting to pick it up. They use the slipstream with each other, and Jensen Drummond, all out on his own at the front, has got it all to do with a longer race, 10 minutes plus one lap in this final. The endurance will start to kick in compared to our other races. Has Jensen Drummond got the mettle? Has he got the composure to hold off Callum Ryan and Grisbeck behind, chasing after him? He got a bit wide there, did Drummond. Is he starting to feel the heat already a little bit? Track limits for Jensen Drummond as well. I think as he ran wide out of the second hairpin. Got to be careful on that curb there too. I wonder if the Drummond camp on the outside are letting him know about this. He's got to be so smart with where he places his kart. Maximises his time around the lap, but doesn't get these warnings. Coming in hot behind, Callum Ryan looks like he's going to size a move up there around the outside. And nothing doing on the inside. He's just waiting his turn now, waiting for the door to well and truly open, and doesn't want to do a rash move up the inside before the move is ready. It's got to be prepped. Look at there, bumper to bumper. Absolutely nothing to give between Drummond and Ryan. He's setting the fastest lap. Of course he's setting the fastest lap out there right now. He's 0.2 per second quicker than Jenson Drummond. You can see it visibly right now on your screen. Drummond trying to get out the corner as quick as he can. Use all the traction underneath him as much as possible over the curbs to shave off some of your lap time here at Buckmore Park from both the drivers. Grisbeck starting to drop away from these two a little bit here. They're in a world of their own right now. Grisbeck starting to fall away if he doesn't reel them in sooner enough. He's going to let these two drive off into the distance. Here, Jenson Drummond, though, getting all so wide out on the side. He's got to be careful. Callum Ryan all over the back of him, down through the sweep and into Paddock Bend. Into Garda here, the crest of the hill, and it cambers down towards you, and then you find your way very quickly to the apex of Senna Chicane and then through the calf curve. And Drummond doing enough here to hold off Callum Ryan for now. Is Callum going to sustain this pressure though? Really up the ante, or is he just going to quite comfortably sit there, have the few 3-4 attempts in his pocket, and then pounce at the right time? Max Skilton, careful with a track limit warning as well. Down in 10th. Got to be so careful not to let the stewards intervene in your race progress and all the hard work you've done out there on track come to nothing. Look at these two at the front though. Drummond and Callum Ryan have really dropped Grisbeck here. Further back through the field, nice battles going on here. Getting sideways there, very close for, this is sort of down to towards 5th and down to 9th from sort of George Leary down to Kabir Singh. Nice battle going on here between all of these drivers in the Honda Cadets. And finding their way around. Brandon Lasco as well in 6th. He was up there in the mix earlier, leading some of the heats. Keep an eye on him maybe to come into the final stages of this race, into his own element. Another track limits warning for Ollie Knox. The race control not messing about with our finals then this afternoon. There is no leniency out there. Unless Stewart. Here we are then. Jenson Drummond out in the lead, fastest lap of the race. But only at 10th of a second ahead of Callum Ryan. Eric Grisbeck 2 seconds back. Callum Ryan, no, he's fallen by the wayside. Callum Ryan up in the lead, has lost P1 to Jenson Drummond. So Callum Ryan has gone to the lead. And found himself behind Callum Ryan now. Callum Ryan has become the driver who has got to hold on here. And now soak up the pressure for Jenson Drummond behind. And there's absolutely nothing to choose between our two drivers, apart from maybe a slight wobble into a corner. And there's still 3 minutes to go plus a lap in this race. So much can happen between now. Jenson Drummond has definitely been showing he deserves to be at the top of the Honda Cadet rankings in the UK. And there is the wobble I was talking about. Ryan nearly giving the place back to Drummond. But Callum Ryan is unfortunately not a name I've seen too much of so far, but he's certainly changing that right here. Mixing it with the likes of Jenson here at Buckmore Park. And he's all over the back of them. Jenson Drummond was very efficient there, taking a very straight line through that final couple of corners, over Garda, over the crest. Looks over his shoulder, does Callum Ryan. But knows that there's enough time here just for this lap or the next to just, unless there's a real obvious chance to dive up the inside and overtake, it's going to kind of stay probably odd as even. And then Jensen Drummond, you'd think, would be strategizing to swoop on through in the final lap, leaving it till then. I mean, that's what I would do, isn't it? You would try and catch your opponent off guard. Even though they're coming, you just don't know whether they're going to do it now with a minute and 40 on the clock, whether they can hold the lead this early, whether you need to do it a little bit later to spook your opponent in that way. All of the racing psychology of racecraft, it's so fascinating to see it from this point of view, I always find, in whatever class it might be. So the looking of the shoulder for Callum Ryan, who's also now got a track limit warning himself. He's got to be careful not to fall foul to race control. There you go, look. Knows about the track limit warnings whilst he's trying to keep in the track limits. Jensen Drummond has dived down the inside again, and he's dropped a bit of time to him, but I think Callum Ryan will have the pace to close back up to him in no time at all. Jensen Drummond knows he's a lucky boy there and found an opportunity open for itself. On the brakes, can Callum Ryan close back up again though? And yeah, not too much has changed there. Callum's found himself back to where he needs to be. On the outside, they use as much runoff as they're physically allowed to before race control get involved. Another track limit warning for Kabir Singh down in 6th place there from race control. Oh, getting very, very close. Flirting with the track limits is Jensen Drummond. Oh, that curb is so unforgiving on the outside. You sort of remember it when you're halfway through the corner. And trust me, I've felt exactly the same when I've been around here a few times myself. It's the most horrible feeling where you're so focused on going faster and then you're like, oh no, I can't run out this wide. And you're sort of computing it all at the same time. And then you try and catch it and just hope that you've stuck where you need to be. There you go, look, they're not using it anywhere near as much as the exit curve now, as they know it could be proving very costly between these two. They've both got warnings. The first one to go over the line is probably going to be the person who wins. Just about keeps all four, at least not all four wheels off the circuit there, did Drummond. Same with Ryan as well. They're really pushing it here. Final lap of this Honda Cadet final of the Summer Cup at Buckmore Park. Who's going to take victory here? Place your bets now. Jensen Drummond wants to be that person who stays in first from now to the end of the race. He's gone very defensive, hugged the middle of the track. Callum Ryan tries to sweep round the outside. He'll switch back and under. He'll try his best to, but nothing doing there. He goes back onto the rear bumper of Jensen Drummond, who is not being given any breathing room whatsoever. Coming down into the sim sweep, down into Paddock Bend. Out onto the runoff, stays away from the curb because he wants to go defensive here to Garda. Is there any way to sweep through? Round the outside, Callum Ryan tries it, but Drummond covers it off. Is Ryan going to find a gap on the inside? Is it going to be a drag race to the line? It looks like Drummond's got it. He has. Jensen Drummond takes the win for the Summer Cup at Buckmore Park in the Honda Cadets. That was an incredible strategic drive from start to finish from Drummond. He conceded position to start with to Callum Ryan. He let Callum have a taste of what it was like to be leading up the front. And then in the end, Drummond comes back through ahead of Callum Ryan. And then it's Eric Grisbeck, 4.4 seconds off the lead of Drummond. Only had that pace earlier on in the race. Grisbeck takes the podium though. Ollie Knox followed by George Lilly, Kabir Singh, Ethan Holbert, Brandon Lackow and Alexander Mercer, Max Skilton, Oliver Jones, Cruz Jenkins, Jude Bartlett, and Timon Pichak is 14th. And your provisional results there confirmed. And then further on, Charlie Cruttenden, Avir Bhatia and Felix Finn round off all your 17 runners in that Honda Cadet final. Well, what did you make of that one? we'll go from our Honda Cadets though, because we have no time to lose to our next category here today for the Summer Cup. And there they are waiting then. Milo Taylor in the Micromaxes. And the mighty Cadets are dual grid final here. Small grids, but someone's got to win it. And someone is going to win it very, very soon. And find their way into where they would like to be. So waiting to get the green light from race control, and our drivers can make their way out there. Hopefully not too long until they have to make their way from the dummy grid there. So obviously they come through Parc Fermé, they get on the dummy grid to make sure that the next race and all the drivers in their karts are ready to go. And you can see Milo Taylor at the front there. With stiff competition from the other three drivers around him. Of the likes of Freddie Dye and Jacob Amos and Jax Wong in the mighty Cadets 2 will equally have their work cut out. With all of the competitors around them. And there we are. The green light is waving, firstly, for our Micromaxes to head on out, power up the engines, and for our four drivers who have got, well, the luxury of just a beautiful Buckmore Park track to go and win some silverware and some trophies to put in the cabinet for later on when they get back home and just, you know, adore it, look at it for a couple of hours and just think, I am great, you know, why not? Starting on pole for this one because of the penalties that threw things into the mix in the last heat that we had. Cooper Galloway leads off the front row. Leo Hunt, Aurelio Capalonga, and then to our mighties, Jacob Amos, Freddie Dye, Jaden Bond, and Jax Wong. So it's Milo Taylor, Leo Hunt, Cooper Galloway, and Aurelio Capalonga who are going to be leading us round. So our Micromaxes coming through your screen there, building up the revs, and we'll try and jump on board for our mighties, try and keep across both of them as best as we can. It's very difficult with both of them happening at the same time at different parts of the track. But here we go, our Micromax is underway. Milo Taylor with Cooper Galloway challenging round the outside. Milo holds on to the lead though, and will be fine himself, diving to second place though. On the inside and using the second hairpin just to hold the position. I think that was Leo Hunt. Here comes our Micromaxes though. And who's going to be first into the first hairpin? It is that of Freddie Dye. So Freddie Dye, I think, is up into lead, although I think he lets a driver through there. Or has he got an issue? Has Freddie Dye got an issue, or was he giving the place back on his own accord there? I'm not too sure. Oh, have we gone round for a... Oh, we've had a false start. Oh, okay. I mean, that was a very late call on a false start. I mean, I thought we were away for, and I felt like 3 laps had gone down. But now we're racing. Okay, now we're racing for Micromaxes. We'll try this again, shall we? Milo Taylor holds it around the outside. Cooper Galloway tried it again, but Milo Taylor stays in the lead ahead of Cooper, and then Leo Hunt, and then Capalonga at the back. We'll also try again for our mighties, who will be getting underway. And here they are, into turn 1. Jacob Amos holds the lead ahead of Freddie Dye. Freddie Dye's going to hang it round the outside, and great defensive positioning and driving there from Jacob Amos to be out in the lead of this one. Meanwhile, on the right hand bottom of your screen, you can see what's happening with our Micromaxes. Jacob Amos though finding his feet in this one. Freddie Dye got a beautiful run off of the second hairpin and right down towards the bottom of the circuit here. There's Jacob Amis holding off Freddie Dye then. In the Micromaxes meanwhile, you've got Milo Taylor leading the way. Leo Hunt has gone ahead of Cooper Galloway in second. And settling into this one nice and gently, Jacob Amis though. Jacob Amis and the battle between Amis and Freddie Dye, it is been mouth-watering throughout today. Nothing to choose between them. And Jacob Amis has got 8.5 minutes to try and hold off Freddie Dye's challenge from behind, as Milo Taylor sets the fastest lap out front in the Micromaxes of a 44.7, only 0.02 of a second quicker than Leo Hunt. But here, Jacob Amis getting a side tank slapper going on there, coming out of Garda. Freddie would have been all over that. And on it like a rash. Did he catalyse on it though? No, he hasn't. Jacob Amis is still out in front, coming into the first hairpin, and the scare is over for now for Jacob. Just about collected it when he needed to. For our Micromaxes on screen as well, in the bottom right-hand corner, whilst Jacob Amis is making his way round the circuit. Milo Taylor still in P1. Cooper Galloway's gone back ahead of Leo Hunt, so Cooper is in second now. Retain that spot. Jacob Amis coming through Garda. Here's your Micromaxes now on screen with you, and finding their way through. Milo Taylor and Cooper then, the new chaser, Leo Hunt Capalonga, further back in towards the back of the Micromax grid. And Milo Taylor sort of being allowed to run away with it here if these two aren't careful. Cooper Galloway and Leo Hunt really fighting away at the scraps for second and third. Meanwhile, there's Capalonga in the background. Across the line once again, Milo Taylor, unless he does something drastically wrong in this next stages of the race. Looks like he's starting to build a gap, cement himself in this one. Some soaring away at the wheel, the twitchiness, trying to get stable underneath him. Using a nice bit of runoff there, Cooper Galloway and Leo. And here is your Mighties then. Back to our Mighties, Jacob and Freddie Dye on the right-hand side of your picture towards the bottom of your screen. The Micromax action continues with second and third place. Meanwhile, on the main part of your screen, here is Jacob Amis and Freddie Dye in a world of their own. They've absolutely left Jax Wong and Jaden Bond for dead, coming down into the final part of the lap. Still 6 minutes on the clock though. It's almost like one of the heats have just started. Cutting back on our main screen to our Micromaxes, second and third nearly changing places there. Switching around on the rear of Cooper was Leo, trying to find a way through. Nothing doing right now. He'll have to bide his time in this one, I think. It's going to be that one decisive move when the gaps are so negligent. There is nothing to choose between, well, both the kind of leaders and front runners in both our categories. On your main picture now, there is Amis. Jacob Amis, once again, really growing into 2026. He has really found a place of his own at being, well, definitely up towards the top 10 in the national championships, which are, of course, very competitive. Have quite a few drivers that have come through from Bambino. And there is a change for the leaders. I'm talking glowingly about Jacob Amis. I don't discount any of it. But Freddie Dye came through there into hairpin one. He nearly went too wide and deep into the braking zone. As they come out of the second hairpin, Jacob Amis now finds himself behind Freddie Dye. And it's changed just like that. As soon as I was talking about, I wasn't trying to curse him. I really wasn't. Trying to stay off the track limits there. Freddie Dye, Jacob Amis had that all sorted out. They just get on the brakes enough through the crest of Garda, through turn 10, through 11 there, the centre chicanes, and now towards Calf Curve. There are your other two drivers in the Mighties. On the right-hand bottom of your picture there. But Jacob Amis trying to go back through. Meanwhile, in the main part of your picture. But Freddie Dye holds on just about, keeping up with it here. Meanwhile, there's the Micromaxes in the bottom right of your screen. Milo Taylor running away with this one. It's all for second and third. It's Cooper and Leo still fighting it out for the trophy. And who's going to take it home this weekend? Staying away from the red lines of the curb, doing their best. Back to our Micromaxes on your main picture. Cooper Galloway, Leo still batting it out. Cooper staying strong, staying resolute, staying stubborn behind. Freddie Dye staying stubborn to the challenge of Jacob Amos. The clock is ticking down. Our leaders of both our categories have only got 3.5 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. Of course, earlier for our Micromaxes, our Mighties might have it a bit more to do, but it's pretty much the same when it all comes out in the wash towards the end of the race. And towards the front of both of our classes, Milo Taylor, Freddie Dye, currently going to be the ones that are taking home the crown from a trip well worth down to Kent here at Buckmore Park for the Summer Cup today. It's part of the Champions Kart Club. And Cooper Galloway, see, coming down through the sector again. Oh, he tries to find an inside line, but nothing doing there, I should say. And I've just noticed, just popped up from race control, Milo Taylor, who's got a massive gap of about 2 seconds, doesn't need to really worry about running out to the extremities of the circuit. He's got a track limit warning. He needs to be careful. And a contact warning for Leo Hunt as well, batting away with Cooper. So these drivers have to be so careful. Oh, I haven't seen this for ages. I don't know why I've only just seen this. Just popped up for us. Freddie Dye in the Mighty's got a 3-second penalty. Was that something to do with jumping the start maybe? I don't know what that's relating to. But Freddie Dye, who's up there right now, on track and actually ahead of Jacob Amos. All Jacob needs to do is stick within 3 seconds of him, and Jacob's going to win off the road. He'd like to do it on the road though, wouldn't he? He'd like to come through and have that credit out on track. Jack Swong in the Mighties, also down towards the rear of the grid, is also got a 3-second penalty. As there's a move there to the inside for Cooper Galloway. Oh, and came onto the front bumper very quickly. Both drifting through the last corner through Garda. Leo Hunt goes ahead of Cooper Galloway for now into second. 55 seconds left on the clock. He's trying to go back through though, retake second through Conways and through Henry's Bend. He's done it. He's reclaimed second place as Cooper Galloway. Is that all we're going to see from Leo Hunt? Is that all he wrote, or has he got more in this latest chapter of the Micromax final? How's it all going to play out here between these two? It's been a great tussle. They're staying on the curbs there. He tries to hang it out wide. Does Leo Hunt? He's probably got 2 more laps to try and chase down and cement this second place, as has Jacob Amos, to do it out on track. Our race leader though there in the micros is looking like he's going to have the race victory all wrapped up. Just got to bring it home and not do anything silly or anything too stupid. Oh, and then in our Mighties, I think Jacob Amos, just on the right-hand side of your picture there, dive to the inside. He has. He's up into first. I think they've hit a back marker in the micros, or maybe the race leader in the Micromaxes. No, I think they've hit a back marker. There will be blue flags though. Now one of the micro carts is getting in the way of Freddie Dye, I think, or maybe he's just got past. I can't quite picture between the two of them. Milo Taylor though comes across for the final lap of the race. There in the lead is Jacob Amos though. I can definitely see that towards the bottom of your picture. There's Cooper Galloway. There is Leo Hunt fighting it out for second. Final lap now for Mighties. And who's coming back through? It's Freddie Dye. So Freddie has got back through and past the traffic there. But I think Jacob has been allowed to build too much of a gap out front. Although, there they are though. And actually that gap has closed very, very fast. But meanwhile, Milo Taylor has taken victory here for our Micromaxes. Cooper Galloway wins the fight between him and Leo Hunt. Where is Jacob Amos? We need to find out. How is he going to cement this victory for Mighties? One of the back markers for Micros. He's going to come across the line, but there is Jacob Amos. He finishes a mile ahead of Freddie Dye in the end. There you go, finishing their race. Oh, and actually, Freddie Dye actually nowhere to be seen in the second place of the Mighties. What happened to Freddie Dye? That was Jaden Bond coming across the line to pick up second place, ahead of Jack Swong, as Freddie Dye stopped out there on track. I'm trying to see what happened to him. He hasn't come across the line to take the checkered flag. But there we are. Jacob Amos held his own, has gone to win Mighties in the cadets, ahead of Jaden Bond, Jack Swan and Freddie Dye. Milo Taylor, meanwhile, finishes nearly 3 seconds up the road from Cooper Galloway and Leo Hunt, and Aurelio Capalonga further back in the traffic of the Micros. I'll be very interested to find out what happened to Freddie Dye. Very interested indeed. But we will see how that all plays out when we get to our final results at the end of the day. Meanwhile, let's get on to another final, shall we? Right, we come back on to our next class to round off their racing for the day. And let's get on to our Intermax drivers, who you can hear roaring out of the dummy grid to take their place. And can anyone challenge the dominance of George Whiteman today, ahead of Hayden Wardale, Mason Munzer, Harvey Ball and Ronnie Griffin? Can anyone find a chance out there? On pole position as well. Pole position, Finley Thompson, not George Whiteman. He's going to be second. Not sure why it first keeps getting missed off our grids, but we apologise. But it's Finley Thompson followed by George Whiteman, then Hayden Wardale, Mason Munzer, Harvey Ball, Ronnie Griffin. So Whiteman against Thompson on the front row. But my point still stands about George Whiteman. He's had dominant 4-5 second victories out front today. He's got even longer to be able to build a gap in this race. He's on the outside, which, yes, you'll have the outside line going into the first hairpin, but if you can duck back in into the inside and defend your position into the apex, it could make the world of difference. The red lights go out and we're racing Finley Thompson into turn one, holds the inside. George Whiteman hangs it round the outside just like I predicted. And is he going to go to the inside just like I predicted? Yes, he is. George Whiteman shuts the door and finds a way up the inside. What a move round the outside, and then switches back to cover the apex. And just like that, George Whiteman has absolutely shell-shocked the grid at the start, and Finley Thompson finds himself further back now from his starting position in second place there behind George Whiteman. And here we go, coming across the line officially for the first time in this race. We'll have 10 minutes plus 1 lap to decide what happens in this one. And George Whiteman then getting to the place he wants to be, where he's been all throughout today here at Buckmore Park. Seems to love this track, seems to really play to his strengths in those mid-corner speeds and keeping it flat here. Great stability. His car, actually, when you've been watching it towards the end of the last heat, incredibly smooth driving. gets the car turned in, gets on the power early, and it looks very, very stable, does that of George Whiteman's Intermax go-kart underneath him. And I hate to say it, but I feel like we're going to see a rinse and repeat of the similar progress he was enjoying earlier on today, and he's already starting to build a gap. We've got close to 7/10 of a second now, ahead of Finley Thompson. Hayden Wardale and Harvey Ball, followed by Mason Munzer and Ronnie Griffin towards the back of the grid. There is Ronnie, there is Mason in the slightly sort of pink livery car. There you go, coming through. And there's Ronnie trying to stick with all of these drivers towards the front of the grid. Oh, Harvey having a think and a look up the inside. But nothing doing there. And will live to fight on another day to try another dive at the inside. Well, in the next 7.5 minutes. Plenty of opportunity to do that. These races, though, when you're watching them, they feel like they're going for a bit longer. If you're driving them, they must absolutely fly by for our drivers, who I'm sure are enjoying themselves, but would like to see the checker flag sooner rather than later. I'm sure George would like to see that as well. Hayden Wardale, you can see getting very wide, trying to collect the back end of his car, coming into Paddock Bend and just about managing it, taking too much entry speed into the corner. And of course, some corners at this track, other circuits around the UK, they'll benefit from a slow in, fast out. Some doesn't really apply to that same kind of method. You want to be going fast in to carry the speed through the corner and just sort of, it's quicker when you just hope on the exit of the corner that you've held onto it and you've carried the speed and momentum through, and you're not going to run out wide in the next sequence of the corners. You don't be running out wide there for sure. Over Garda, it's spell a very quick end to your race. Meanwhile, George Whiteman then out front in the lead of this one. More than 1.4 seconds he's built a gap to now. Not too shabby whatsoever. And I'm not sure, who's the difference that George really is displaying, whether it is pure driver skill, whether that car is so beautifully set up for around here at Buckmore Park. I've certainly seen that, described that, haven't I, literally minutes ago. It has that kind of trend about it, the way the kart behaves. It feels like it's planted, it feels predictable, it feels really smooth from what you can see. And when it's predictable to drive, it's exactly what a driver wants. Wants to know what it's going to do. If you're going to turn it in, you're going to chuck it in, flick it into the hairpin. You want to know it's going to go where you think it is. And supreme confidence underneath the seat of George Whiteman at the moment. That being shown in the timing, but also in the gap that he's sailing away into the distance for. 10.5 quicker than Finley Thompson's best lap behind in second. The gap is not so big, the differential between those times. Not so big at the moment between George Whiteman and Thompson in second, but big enough to be gaining 2-3 tenths of a second a lap, which is enough, absolutely enough. 2.2 seconds is the gap now. Further back there, here's your battle for third, further back. Hayden Wardale there, your 85. Kind of bringing second place back into this one now. I mean, I know Finley Thompson just kind of deliberately backed off the pace here because he just knows he's not going to get after George Whiteman. I mean, you would want to try and get after the race leader, obviously, but if there's nothing much doing and you think it's not really on, you want to try and look after the car in this stage of the race with 4 minutes 20 on the clock, and then maybe defend your second position, blast off into the lead for the, well, in the second place, cement that gap in second place in the final couple of laps, and then sort of saved your tyres, saved your own energy, your effort in reserve. But it's not going to pan out very well if he goes along with that method, because Hayden Wardale is up to second place. And what's the gap from Hayden and second? So it's about 2.8 seconds, I'm going to predict. Can Hayden do the impossible and chase down George Whiteman with 4 minutes or so on the clock, plus the extra lap? I think it's a very, very tall ask. because as they come across the line, Wardale has now got 3.3 seconds almost to find on our drivers. A move to the inside there from Harvey Ball will then be the outside for the next turn. So great defensive driving from Finley Thompson, some great racecraft, knowing that the next sequence of corners was going to favour him and hold position, not panic going into there too much. Mason Munzer just about trying to hold on to the back of these guys, and Harvey Ball chucks it into the inside, gets the braking done, switches to the inside, switches back over through Garda, through centre chicane, can't get in front, comes through Cafe Curve and into Conway's Bend. Through there, the next instant apex straight away of Henry's Bend into hairpin 1. And he's chucked it up the inside into the second hairpin. What a move from Harvey Ball on the brakes, trusting that it's going to stick. And he did. Finley Thompson had to comply, had to leave the space on the inside. And that is what you call an opportunist move there by Harvey Ball, running the Tony Kart livery here this weekend. Hayden Wardell, meanwhile, in second place. I mean, I think it's wishful thinking, trying to dent into the lead of our first place man out there at the moment. Hayden Wardell's now got a 3.8 second gap nearly to George Whiteman at the front. And just the class of the field here is George. He's lapping now 0.3 of a second quicker nearly than Hayden back to second. And I mean, 0.3 of a lap. It's just at this level, in karting just in general, 0.3 of a second in a lap. It's absolutely huge. And George is going to just keep increasing his lead here. As I said, not as dominant as he was doing in the first stages, as Harvey Ball falls back once again to Finley Thompson, but comes straight back through to retake P3. What a great pass and then repass manoeuvre from Harvey Ball through the two apexes of Henry's Bend and into the hairpin. He's not messing about out there. Knows his rival and opponent behind him. Working each other out constantly. Who's going to throw something new at the kitchen sink? Or has Harvey Ball got this finally wrapped up the third? I'd like to feel like he might not at this stage. Meanwhile, Hayden Wardell certainly looks like he's got it wrapped up. We're sticking with these guys though for third and fourth, because it just keeps on giving. The gift keeps on giving with Harvey Ball. Is there a move on the inside there? No, he'll try it round the outside, Finley Thompson. He has to stay behind for now though. Hugging the rear bumper of Harvey Ball down through the sweep into Pullman's. Through the paddock bend, looking over his shoulder. He tries to shut the door, but he's gone wide, and now Finley Thompson goes back ahead of Harvey Ball. It changes once again. Has that too much of a gap now been opened up by Finley Thompson? Finley Thompson has got a contact warning though. Has to be careful there, and I think that was as a result of the move that we saw. Not a penalty though. So Harvey Ball has still got to use every ounce of effort he's got left and know-how underneath that helmet to close this gap if he can. Get on after him, try and snatch a podium towards the end. There is Finley Thompson. Harvey Ball is coming back at him slowly but surely. On to the final lap now. George Whiteman, who is, I mean, I don't know what to say. I've run out of superlatives. 5.2 seconds ahead in a 10-minute race. It's astonishing. It's extraordinary. The driving being on display today by George Whiteman. I know it's a smaller grid to maybe what you might see in a national championship, but no one has come close to matching the prowess of George Whiteman. He's going to come through the final few corners. He's going to feel absolutely elated because he becomes a St. George of this Buckmore Park circuit for the Summer Cup. George Whiteman takes the victory in Intermax ahead of Hayden Wardale. Finley Thompson in the end, just about finished, 4 tenths ahead of Harvey Ball. Great battle between third and fourth there. Mason Munzer and a checkered flag will be seen by Ronnie Griffin there. They find their way into the pits, and that is that. 5.5 seconds in the end, the gap between George Whiteman and Hayden Wardale. Finley Thompson holding on to the podium there between him and Harvey Ball. Mason Munzer and Ronnie Griffin rounding off your 6 runners in our Intermax final there. Wow. Well, there we are. There's another final in the can and some great battles to take ourselves away with from this weekend. And our Intermaxes for the Summer Cup done and dusted. They can rest in the paddock as we have another one of us. Airport very close to us here in near Chatham. And the sort of Cessnas, I mean, looking like, I mean, look at the amount it's moving around, just coming across the shot. It feels very, very unsettling just seeing them come into land. But that's not what we're giving you commentary of today. This isn't Flight Radar or Flight Spotter at Heathrow Airport. This is the kart circuit of Buckmore Park for the Champions Kart Club, and we'll go from this class on to our next final. And if you've been watching at home thinking, oh well, there's not much of competition because there's only 4, 5, 6 karts in it. Well, it's about to change, okay? Because Junior Road Tax, we're having 20 runners out there for the final to take home the trophy today in the Buckmore Park Summer Cup. Freddie Wall is on pole position. Harry Wright joins him on the front row. Eden Salvage followed by Fitzgerald, Jacob Kent, Iqbal, Marshall and Kid Glass on row 4. Aston Tab, Luke Weavers, Reynolds, Dimitru, Timmy Shahini, Vinnie Cunningham, Moore and Harrison to 16th on row 8. Rounded off by Cooney, Rashid and Orridge for your 19 runners. And that is very unusual on the formation lap, but we are going to be going round again as a result. I had no idea what happened there. I'm not sure if our cameras picked up what happened with that driver there. I don't think they did, because we wouldn't really be focusing on it because we're expecting our drivers to come around for the formation, but hope they're okay. They are up and about, so good to see that that driver is all fine. And I'm just trying to see who that is. Oh, don't say it's Issa Rashid again. Oh, I think it was out of the last one was Issa Rashid. Oh, big shame. I'd like to see them come through and have a bit of a run out here at Buckmore Park. Yellow flag's waving then to make sure our drivers are going slow enough to come round towards the tram lines. The kart's still being cleared away, and I think we're going to go round again. We are, because the kart is not yet off circuit. There's no point starting a race when there still might be a risk into the first hairpin where the pit lane peels off for our drivers. So they have another formation, find themselves where they need to be once again. And again, I told you that Freddie Wall was on pole position. Freddie Wall is not on pole position. He's on second place. It's Harrison McNeely who's on pole position. I'm not too sure why it keeps missing off the first place, but that is looking all fine now. Harrison McNeely alongside Freddie Wall, Harry Wright and Eden Salvage in your top 4. Keep an eye on them. Maybe you could see a charge from Layla Fitzgerald and Jacob Kent from behind in 6th. I'm pretty sure we'll get underway with things this time as everything looks hunky-dory out there on the circuit. Keeping plenty of air running through the radiator. Make sure it doesn't all clog up. And we get underway. No, we got another false flag. Another false start for our drivers. And to be honest, I'm not too sure what that's for, so that surprised me, but we'll go round once again. They say third time lucky, well, not in this instance. We're going to have to wait some more, and I'm not sure the timing's actually caught up with the full start here, because you can see the time ticking down, but that'll be why. Okay, yep, so we're still fixing the barriers. Race control not happy that that's all sorted. And they're going to need to neutralise this race, or are we still going to run round under the green flag conditions, running down the clock? And maybe they can't afford to be doing that. So I'm not too sure what's happening now. I think the clock has reset. So we'll be underway now. The lights go out. Are we running green? Yellow flags waving. I think we're racing though. To be honest, I've not got much of an idea. I think McNeely is running though. And no, it is a false start. It's another false start. Not too sure what's happening here, if I'm honest. Some drivers thought we were racing it. You'd understand why. We've had now 4 false starts at the start of this race, as to the incident obviously going from the formation lap. And there's nothing wrong with making sure that everything is good to go. You don't want to run drivers into an unsafe race, but it's all getting into a territory here where they've got to be very careful about keeping their karts running, because if these karts don't run at full pelt, they can very easily clog up. And it's the last thing that our drivers want. Right, okay, we've had five alive? Are we 5 alive this time in Junior Rotax? Are we underway? Finally, yes we are. Freddie Wall into turn 1, jumps ahead of, oh my goodness, nearly, but another coming together between probably about 4th and 5th, and then further back, it's just a complete first foray through there, further back. But meanwhile, Freddie Wall is out in front. And Harrison McNeely in second. They will be coming towards turn 1 very soon. Did they get everything cleared away? Did everyone get going again? They did. So it's as you were. And thankfully, just coming together for some of our drivers who, albeit were back of the grid, managed to get going again. So Freddie Wall in the lead ahead of Eden Salvage, up to second now. Wasting no time in this race. It's been hovering in sort of the 5th place. Oh, and that doesn't look good at all. We hope that driver's okay. Cora Moore went into the barrier hard there. You could see how the kart was looking there, and really not in a great shape, the kart itself. I hope Cora is okay. Meanwhile, racing continues. Not too sure where that was. I think it was into sector 2. And I think there it is on the outside. I mean, that's quite freak, getting caught on the right-hand side, and must have been pitched as they were trying to dive and move around the outside. And then got caught on the grass, into the barrier, spun round, and then, yeah, I think we've had no choice here but to go to slow boards and yellow flags to get this cleared up, because you need some time to sort this out. Yeah, we've gone to a red flag, so we've completely stopped the race, and the warning's taken a while to come on. Yeah, need to make sure our drivers are okay. And I did think it was strange that we were still racing despite what we saw. Yeah, our timing screen's taken a bit of time to catch up with what was going on there, but we are red flagged. As you can see, our drivers have come to a halt on the grid. And yeah, up to the drivers in front, making sure that drivers that have then rejoining at the back of the grid don't then slam into the stationary drivers, obviously, towards there. Whilst we've got a red flag, maybe let's look at, well, if you're already part of SlipStream, you know what it's all about, but you might not know that SlipStream entitles you to get across the finals of all of our various kart clubs across the UK. There's plenty of other benefits you can get yourself across as well.
SlipStream, the way to watch all the best club karting live and on demand. It takes just 1 minute to become a channel member and get your virtual SlipStream Pass. Hit the join button on our YouTube channel and follow the prompts. Using an iPhone? Do this via Safari to avoid paying an extra fee. Channel members get early access to the Bump Draft podcast, as well as 7 days exclusive access to the event finals. Plus, they also get priority chats read live by our commentators, so you can show your support for your favourite drivers. It's a rolling 30-day membership and you can cancel at any time. Join SlipStream today to enjoy live club karting and help promote the grassroots of our sport.
I teased it last month. Ooh. We've got some more SlipStream goodness coming to our members, and hopefully to give you members some more value. We've had a great uptake. We want to continue to give you more value for your membership, also to hopefully encourage some more members to get involved as well. The second podcast, which is coming, now has a name.
Oh, go on then.
The SlipStream Tune-Up.
Ooh.
The SlipStream Tune-Up is coming to your screens as a member and to your ears as non-members. And the idea is to give all of you members at home some inside knowledge from the best in the business. First guest, Oliver Hodgson, podcast already recorded. I couldn't have asked for a better first episode.
Oh, wow.
Second guest, August, Gus Lawrence, already recorded.
Boom.
So that's a pretty good start. And the first episode, which will be in the second week of July for our SlipStream members, the week after for non-members, is about how to win a big karting event. Not a coincidence that airs 2 weeks before Kart Masters.
So this is you asking the experts in their field to give away as many secrets as they're prepared to help other drivers. So basically, what you're trying to say is that by becoming a SlipStream member, it will make you a better driver.
Yes, it's going to be good. Hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Oliver Hodgson. I'm the first guest on the SlipStream Tune-Up podcast. Really excited to be on here, and what you're going to hear is me talking about how to win major karting events.
All right, so welcome back. We are just waiting for the red flag stoppage we had as a result. I think one of the drivers going off, understandably, call the red flag, make sure the drivers are all okay, and we're in that state again where, you know, the race has stopped, but safety is first. Safety is paramount. And that is the main thing. I mean, obviously compounded by about 4 full starts at the beginning of the race. Unfortunate for some of our drivers out there. But now, I think there's some transponder checks going on, I think, whilst we have the time, with some of our karts out there. And so we've got 7 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock remaining. Oh no, make that 6 minutes 56, it just changed. Literally as I read it. Our alpha timing catching up with us. Keeping across all of it. You can follow along with the timing as well. I mean, you think this is kind of like something that only I have access to, and like, you know, secret information, but this is all available for you to get across yourself. If you search for Alpha Race Hub and then search for Champions Karting on there, you'll be able to follow along with your own sort of race control yourself. Tells you about all the flags, the contact warnings, the stoppages obviously to the race, who's doing the fastest laps, who's doing the fastest sectors, where they started on the grid. It's really cool. So if you want to follow along when we're doing our commentary through the races, you'll see some of what I see to tell you the story of the race. It's very handy and really insightful for you watching as well. So our drivers, just of course under red flag conditions here, will be stopped at the start-finish straight and have to stay where they are. Although, oh, who's this getting wheeled away, and for what reason? Is that the number 10? Is there a number 10? No, the 20. Trying to see who that is. Ah. Oh, that'll be why, because the rear bumper is hanging off. Ah. You see to the left of the shot there, rear bumper hanging off of... Well, it was a kart that had a naught on the end. I'm not too sure which kart it was. But maybe we can find out. Oh, here we go. I'm just listening in to the clock. Just as you turn up the sound, he finishes talking. Essentially, though, what he was telling the grid there is going, I think if you manage to make it out, the grid's going to form up one by one up to the start-finish line. You're going to follow around in one by one order. And then we'll be back underway and racing again. I think from a red flag procedure, it will kind of be like when they're starting once again from a slow board. So they'll start one by one and they'll go across the line one by one, not in the formation you'll have 2 by 2 at the start of a race. So they'll go around and do sort of a mini formation like they did again, but this time they'll be one by one. And then our current race leader of Freddie Wall will be the effective pace setter and send them rounds. But just waiting for our driver to get under action and to have our 7 or so minutes left in this one. So it's kind of treating it like a heat race now, almost, what we had earlier in the day. Still plenty of time for some action and positions to change hands. And now the race completely neutralised for Freddie Wall. Got to build up the gap once again. And here they go. Hitting the start button on their Rotax machines. To then line up in file on the grid on the start finish line. And perfect opportunity here for a photographer to get some good shots. Probably not often he gets a chance to do that on the start finish line. And Freddie Wall's going, oh, that's going to look good on my wall. Thank you very much. I'll take that on my social media. Wonderful stuff. So they're all lined up where they need to be, at least for now. The photographer's having a field day, look. Snapping everyone. I mean, that is his job, but he's getting to be on track. It's rare access. Up close and personal to the karts. There he goes again. Oh, look, snap, snap. Oh, changes the focus. Yeah. Nice. Oh, where's he going now? Oh, has he been told to get off the circuit? Okay, fair enough. He's had his fun. He's had his marching orders. And there he is off to the side. Is he going to do another one, though? Is he run his course? Oh, yeah, there he goes. Down on the knees. Lovely. He's got all the tricks in the book. All right, so here we go. After the red flag, they get going again. This has been, you know, I obviously hope that, you know, the driver that's involved, obviously okay, but it's been one of the most disturbed races of today, with the amount of false starts and a red flag we've had. So what we'll do is we'll start after the red flag. They'll go round one by one. We are now effectively transitioned into a slow board procedure, kind of like what you might associate with a virtual safety car in the world of F1 and other single-seaters. The race neutralises, and then the effective pace setter at the front in Freddie Wall becomes the person to control that pace. Have to stay one by one until they get to the acceleration line and over the start-finish line, and then we can go racing once again, and we're away. Freddie Wall has opened the door instantly to the inside. Oh goodness, don't have an instant. We've just had one before. Freddie Wall and Eden Salvage. Eden Salvage was in the lead at one point there, and then Freddie Wall dived back on the inside, as is the racecraft. Coming back through, and the strategy paid off to give up the place at least for a moment, and then come back and get, but a yellow flag's waving still now. I'm not too sure. Is it just through sector 3? Okay, it's been a hectic race. I've struggled to keep up with this one, if I'm honest with you. But we're coming across the line. Freddie Wall is in the lead after momentarily losing it to Eden Salvage. And he's going to hope that after all of the ups and downs and the stoppages, the left and rights of this race, he's going to come out in the lead. Harry Wright takes second though, ahead of Salvage, who's going to need to, well, do just that from third place right now if he wants to stay up there on the podium. Oh, and Salvage got a problem. What happened there? He slowed right down. It became a roadblock instance. It looks like he tried to get on the power and the cart wouldn't go. And I don't know if he tried to restart his cart like as he was mid-corner. I have no idea what happened there, but it looked like he just cut off the throttle just mid-corner out of Paddock Bend and towards Garda, and there was no power on his right foot, and then suddenly it came back, and obviously that's not helped him. He's dropped right down to 7th place, so he's still running in this race. And now it's Freddie Wall and Harry Wright up front. Freddie's got a 0.6 of a second gap to Harry Wright. Now Layla Fitzgerald up into 3rd on the podium herself. So nice to take advantage for Layla. Up there in the mix, Aston Tab. Look at him coming back through though. He's 4th right now. He's got the fastest lap of the race too. Into the 39.6s. 0.2 of a second quicker than Freddie Wall out there right now, which is valuable lap time in a grid that is this fast and this competitive in Junior Rotax. Bumbling over the curbs there through Paddock Bend towards Garda, over the crest of the hill. And finding their way through Henry and Conway's Bend previously of that. Let's get a replay of Salvage dropping speed a bit before Eden Salvage, who's down in 7th now. Let's take a look at what happened, because it just didn't seem to make sense. So here he is there in the mix. He's got karts trying to avoid him, go around the outside, and it's almost like the power just gave up. He then tries to stay out the way of those two drivers. There it is, it happens. It's sort of knocked the wing of Harry Wright, and then from there, it's almost like for about 4 or 5 seconds, he had no power. He was trying to figure it out, and then he's still racing. So it's very strange, but it looks like the engine just conked out for a little bit there. Thanks to the team for getting a replay of that. It was really, really useful to see what happened there. And not the usual goings on. Who's pinning into the pits? Is that Salvage? That might be Salvage. No, there is Salvage. I think it's someone else. Someone else pinning into the pits from this race. Sad to see their weekend end in that way, but we race on. We have 1:50 plus a lap to go of the time we've eaten through in this race for various reasons. Hustling through, Aston Tab up to 3rd now on the fastest lap, and they get caught round. Oh, they would have been so cool, my goodness. Great avoiding action. What incredible driving there to avoid collecting another car in front. That was impressive skill from further back. Is that the likes of Cooney and Orange and Marshall? I think it was one of them that avoided the driver spinning after hairpin 2. Fantastic avoiding driving there to get round them. I mean, maybe worth a replay of that. I mean, not that I want to tempt fate of that happening again, but that was absolutely incredible car control. And Instant all out the way now. Did sort of hold my heart in my mouth there. Here you go. Let's have a look at what happened here. The replay, and they get caught up with each other. Oh, and just finding their way round. And I think that was the 28. And then look at the avoiding action here. Oh my goodness me. What great driving from Miles Harrison that was in the 22. Miles, take a bow, my son, because it could have been so much worse. That was incredible driving. Almost more worthy than a first place win, to be honest. But here we are, 15 seconds on the clock. They might get in 2 more laps, although we might run out of time. Where are they now? They're at Paddock Bend. We've got 9 seconds on the clock. It's going to be very close. I think this is going to just about be the final lap. Yeah, we're going on to our final lap now. The clock has struck 0, which means he's only got another 1,000 metres to worry about round here at Buckmore Park. Freddie Wall, that is, to take victory here in this one ahead of Harry Wright. It's been a chaotic race up and down through the field, but Freddie has stayed cool throughout all of it here. He's got a 1.3 second lead, sailing towards the final sector, over the curbs, through Paddock Bend, towards Garda, gets it on the brakes, gets it under control, gets it turned in, clips the apex to the outside, and now he can start to take in the fact that he's going to win Junior Rotax here with the Summer Cup. Congratulations to Freddie Wall. Aston Tab there as well, getting second place ahead of Harry Wright. What a drive from Aston Tab to come up through the field. Harry Wright on the podium still though. Layla Fitzgerald fourth. Eden Salvage recovers to P5 by setting the fastest lap of the race out there in the end in clean air. But I think the MVP of that race goes to Miles Harrison, taking avoiding action of the incident down at hairpin 2. And as I said, could have been a lot worse. Vinnie Cunningham, Kid Glass, Weavers and Timmy Shahini round off your top 10, followed by Reynolds, Cooney, and then laps back. I think Harrison McNeely was involved in the earlier parts of that race, and Orridge as well. And then moving on to Nishal Marshall, Ashan Iqbal, and hope that Cora Moore is okay after the incident early on in that race. Jacob Kent and Dimitri played no further part in that race as well. Alright, well, we're flying through our classes. That's our final for Junior Rotax, but you can see our next ready to go dummy grid. Let's get to it. And we're down to just like that, our final 2 races of the day, and it concerns both our senior Rotax classes and categories. Our senior Rotax drivers will make their way out first of all, and then the final race of today will be the Rotax 177 classes here at Buckmore Park. And there they are, they're making their way out. And across the timing line, we can see who is starting on pole position for this 10 minutes plus 1 lap final for our senior Rotax drivers here down in Kent today to take home some trophies to wherever they will be. That is not showing the right pole man. It's Declan Russell on pole position. Kieran Hammond is second. Ollie Ertu is third. Caitlin May is fourth. And Oliver Johnson is fifth. Ada Sexton is sixth. Cannon Zigmanta is eighth. Dexter Collins ninth. Louis Aspel rounds off your top 10. It's then Freddie Leppenwell, who is 11th. Sly Hewitt is 12th. Cade Broadbent and Jasper North 14th, with Reece Thorpe, Freddie Green, Lawrence Moss and Colin O'Shea, all your novices in this senior Rotax final, and finding their way off there. Oh, and what's going on today? I don't know what happened. I'm not trying to, tempt fate or rub anything in for any of our drivers, but a red flag's been called on the formation lap, because I don't know if one of our drivers span out on the formation lap already, a tax race, and they hadn't cleared the cut off, didn't realise that it wasn't cleared off, and then realised they can't go racing until that is sorted. They've been ushered to go back round now, complete the other part of the The tram lines. The tram lines. And they build the revs in their engines. The red lights go out. We are racing here at Buckmore Park in Senior Rotax for the final. Declan Russell holds on into P1, into the first couple of corners, through Conway, through Emery's Bend, the first hairpin here, finding their way through, using the runoff on the outside, through the S's, through the chicane, and down the crest of the hill, the chicane, the sort of left-right sweeping corner of Sim Sweep, down towards Pullman's, and through Paddock Bend. Nice move to the inside, further back there on your screen, towards maybe about 12th, 13th, 14th place. Across the line, Declan Russell has got a gap of only 0.3 of a second to Kevin Hammond, getting caught up, hung out to dry on the outside there. Might be the likes of Leppenwell and Louis Aspel down towards that part of the field. Coming through your picture right now, thick and fast are our Senior Rotax drivers. And the fight is on, the battle is on, the heat is on between Declan Russell and Kieran Hammond. Over the bumps of the curb, hug the inside of the apex, way too early to maybe think about throwing a move as risky as that into Garda and onto the start-finish straight, but not risky there, is it? Up the inside, is there room? Oh, there is. Kieran Hammond finds a gap on the inside. Lovely stuff. That's how you do it, into that part of the track, through into the inside of Conway's and Henry's. And here they come then with a new race leader coming down the hill. It's Kieran Hammond leading Declan Russell, but not by a lot, because he's going to come back through at Garda and then he's going to be passed again by Kieran Hammond. And I feel like this is going to be the story of this race. We've also got Oliertu right on the back of them as well, behind in the 92. Got to be so careful not to open the door to about 3rd or 4th place, even 5th maybe in the accidents. You can see right now, look, first back to about 8th or 9th is anyone's race right now. Kieran Hammond though leads us through down towards Sim Sweep, catches the curb on the inside, and Hammond falls foul to Russell again and gets pushed out wide. Does Hammond with the other drivers coming through? That's what can happen when the field is so close together. Is that Ada Sexton up from 5th now, by the way? It is, up into 2nd place, setting the fastest lap of the race at the moment. A 38.8, 0.2 of a second quicker than our front runners, who are having a squabble of their life out front. Declan Russell now, followed by Sexton. Where's that driver in 5th or 6th of Oliver Johnson going in the background, and Zig Manta? Don't want to be getting onto the runoff there. No grip out there. And not going to be progressing you forward in this race as much as you'd like. All of our drivers coming through here, through Garda, over the crest, through centre chicane, and then through Calf Curve, into turn 1. Declan Russell, can he settle himself into this race a bit more? Can Kieran Hammond maybe recover some of what he was doing previously up at the front and battling through now? And now he's got Oliertu in his way. Ada Sexton as well is now the challenger to Declan Russell. All right, things have, I'll probably say it, it'll unsettle again, but it feels like things have settled down slightly in this midpoint in the race. We'll see how true that becomes with the rest of it. Straight line the curb, over Calf Curve, they come through once again. The lap's so fast round here, it's a blink of an eye. 38.7s they're doing now. Declan Russell, Ada Sexton, your 1st and 2nd place racers out there right now doing equivalent, exact lap times to each other. Both done a 38.7 on the dot. Nothing to choose between them. Colin O'Shea, meanwhile, gets a track warning, albeit down towards the back of the field. I don't think he's going to be too bothered about that affecting his race too much. Through Calf Curve, once again, we run down the clock. And this time, Ada Sexton is 0.08 of a second quicker than Declan Russell. Trying to put the pressure on here into Hairpin 1 out of hairpin 2, using the runoff on the outside to make the most of the track width. Flat here, down to you, take a slight lift as you come into the left-hand kink of the sweep, and then back on the power, and then brake into Pullman's and through Paddock Bend, over Garda. And another lap chalked off the boards. And fast and furious for Declan Russell round here, who's just keeping his head in front of him. Not worrying too much at the moment about the immense pressure from behind. Just got to do everything right. Get on the brakes, treat it almost robotically, automatically, muscle memory kicking in here at this stage of the race, keeping your composure, not being too worried or bothered about drivers behind. Although there you go, there's a slight mistake. He went a bit wide on the outside there. Ada can sense the pressure starting to build maybe slightly. Declan is maybe starting to absorb some of that pressure. Out in the lead, looks over the shoulder to the right. There's a change for third place. Kieran Hammond back up in front of Ollie Ertu. In the 69 car, up for third. Does he retain third? Out of that section, he sure does. So on the podium now, it's Russell, Sexton, Hammond as they make their way down the hill once again. There's a yellow flag out. I wonder why that is. There'll be no overtaking through a certain part of the track here. Not too sure why there was a yellow flag, but we're still green flag racing again, so we're fine. It's full pedal to the metal for Declan Russell. Doesn't have to worry too much. And hopefully a clean racetrack for Declan to charge into the rest of this one. 2/10 of a second back. That's the gap between there, your two race leaders. Then it's Hammond following through your screen there, Ortu. And Johnson will follow behind there. Just in case you didn't believe our timing screens, there's some more timing as well. And then Declan Russell, Ada Sexton coming through down the start-finish straight. Once again, nothing to choose between these two. It's going to go to the wire here at Buckmore Park. Being told that someone stopped down in sector 3 and was then pushed into pre-grid. Okay, that makes more sense now. Okay, I take it back. I'm sorry. All right, I just thought there was a yellow flag for the giggles, but they've been pushed into the pre-grid, so it's all fine. Anyway, back to our racing action, because this is where the money is right now. It's what you pay your SlipStream Pass for, isn't it? To see this, Declan Russell, Ada Sexton, piling on the pressure, lap by lap, finding some opportunities, some angles round the outside. There is nothing doing there though. Where's the space? Where's the opportunity for Ada Sexton? Taking this time to, well, not only just keep up with Declan Russell, however, wanting to learn from Declan Russell's driving style. Where are the weak points? Where are the pinch points? Where can you dive it down the inside? Where am I quicker in a certain section of the track? Even by fractions. Can I make it count into the hairpins? Maybe down through the S's into the chicane, into the sweep. Maybe here, into the double right-hander. Is there any space I can find into the inside? The answer is yes. Ada Sexton goes up the inside of Declan Russell, and there you go. It's been coming. You could sense it. It was bubbling up. And Sexton, who's been putting in the fastest laps behind, sitting in second in the slipstream, has now pulled out the slipstream and into the lead of this race. Although the front of that kart doesn't look too clever. Hopefully it's just a cosmetic thing, because look at the front of that kart there of Ada Sexton now out in the lead. There you go, look, there's the mark. Is that going to look too good? Oh, Declan Russell chucked it back up the inside, just about held off. I don't know where those marks are from Ada Sexton. Let's hope it's not a drop nose cone at front. You know, in karting, it's an automatic, non-arguable 5-second penalty. I'm going to just give Ada the benefit of the doubt, though, that it's just a little bit of a cosmetic upgrade. During this race so far, Declan Russell up the inside. Now Ada Sexton's going to lose second place as well to Kieran Hammond. Now Kieran Hammond's got the momentum coming through. towards Declan Russell. 14 seconds, 2 laps to go here at Buckmore Park for Senior Rotax. Through the first right-hand kicks, defensive, you can understand, goes Declan Russell to try and hold the lead. Ada Sexton's back to second place though, out of nowhere. Who's going to keep it? No, Ada falls back to third now. Kieran Hammond's in second, again, coming down through the same sweep towards Pullman's. Over the curbs, look at the defensive posture from Declan Russell. Kieran is trying everything he can. There's a track limit warning for James Cannon down in ninth. We don't care about that right now. Well, we do if you're James Cannon's group, but this is where it's at. The final lap. Who's going to take victory of this one? Place your bets, people. Declan Russell is holding on by the skin of his teeth. Kieran Hammond has a gap round the outside, but the inside will belong to Declan Russell, but Ada Sexton's become up the inside. How has Declan Russell kept the lead? I have no idea. The three of these drivers, any one of them could win the race from here. Down the hill, into the braking zone. Declan Russell and Ada Sexton getting side by side. Oh, they've come together. Oh no, who's gone on through to take the victory? Is that Ollie Ertu? Out of nowhere. He's taken the win, Ollie Ertu. My goodness, wow. What happened there? Well, you saw it on your screen, but you can't explain it. Caitlin May here got second place. Oliver Johnson is on the podium from nowhere. This just shows you've got to be right in the mix. And here we go straight away. This is what happened in our final stage of the race. So Ada Sexton gets in alongside. Declan Russell doesn't spot. There's no space. Oh, and then he comes. Oh, my goodness. Declan Russell comes right across Ada Sexton in a last-ditch defensive effort. Takes out Oliver Hammond in the mix of it as well. Kieran Hammond. And that was... Oh, God. I'm glad all the drivers are okay, but that is the craziest finish to a race we have had so far this year. It's not quite the craziest finish I've had in 2026. It's been close. It's close to being that, but not quite. Here's your results then, provisionally. Auto, Caitlin May, second, out of nowhere. RKO, Oliver Johnson, Kaja Sigmanta, fourth, Leppenwell, Cannon. I said the track limit warning didn't matter. It might matter now. There's no penalty though. That's good. So he's going to hold on to sixth place. Kate Broadbent in seventh. Dexter Collins, eighth. Declan Russell, ninth. Louis Aspel, 10th. Followed by Jasper North, Sly Hewitt, Green, Lawrence Moss. And further on down to P15, Colin O'Shea. And there, look, Kieran Hammond, Ada Sexton, finishing near the back. Unbelievable scenes. Declan Russell in the end, somehow, I don't know how he managed to do that, got going and finished ninth. I've just spotted that. When I was just reading it off, I was just like, oh yeah, Declan Russell. Oh, hold on a minute. He was leading the race? Anyhow, well, if that's not going to be clipped up on Alpha Live's Instagram and used as a highlight for the Summer Cup and why you should be watching Slipstream events like this, I don't know what else you're going to clip up, because that is it right there. Well, thank goodness it isn't our final race today. It'd be a way to finish, but it means we can recalibrate somewhat for our Rotax 177s, who are going to lead us into the final one of the day here at Buckmore Park. Well, there we go. We're just decompressing here in the commentary box about what we've just witnessed and what we've been part of. It's definitely, well, all-consuming, I think is the phrase to use there. Right, let's get on to our Rotax 177 final. We'll just wait for our grid to come out of the dummy grid and make sure actually the barriers, I guess, at the final couple of corners into Garda, which has been the overtaking spots of this weekend, is all good. The barriers are in good working order and our drivers are all ready to go and make their way out onto the track for the final time here at Buckmore Park. It's been great to be down here actually for this event. as part of the Champions Kart Club, and it's not a track that gets visited a lot on the national circuits. Hopefully the aim, though, going forward in the next couple of years, it's got all of the potential to do that. It's a great circuit. It's not as long as some others, but it's got all the potential to definitely be part of the national mix. That's definitely the aim here. Here is your final starting grid of the day, and I can confirm on pole position for sure is Bill Bowyer. Oliver Moss is second. Taylor Bellini is on the second row of the grid alongside Jason Mills, Adam Clark and Billy Clark. Clark squared 5th and 6th. Lewis Deacon, Dan Wright is 8th. Martin Mayer and Jamie Salter, Doug Jenner, Colin Walker, Tom Davis there in 13th alongside Gareth Scantleberry in 14th. So the red lights are solid. They're on, waiting for our Rotax 177 drivers to come round, form up in formation, 2 by 2, before they get to the start-finish line. They'll slow right down. So our final race of the day, of what has been, well, in the last 30 minutes or so, has definitely been exciting. Edge of your seat stuff. Better than the World Cup, some of you might say. Some of you might not. I might. Bill Bowyer leads us off pole position. We are racing into turn 1. Is anyone going to get pinched on the inside there? On the 2 right-hand kinks into the apexes? No, they're not. Bill Bowyer is into and retaining first place from pole position. Cool, and throwing it right round the outside there. I thought he was on the other side of the track, to be fair, but wasn't. I think that was further back down towards the likes of Martin Mayer. I think that was down in 8th place, getting hooked up on the outside. Here you go, though. Bill Bowyer settling in nicely to first place, but is second going to provide the challenge straight away? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Taylor Bellini is right there, and remember the performance of Bellini in the last couple of heats. If you were here watching the heats earlier today, Bellini charged through the field, come to win the race in the end by about 2 seconds or something, climbing up from, I think it was about 7th or 8th roughly, and now already in second in this one, in a prime position to give Bowyer the fight of his life for the next 8 minutes and 45 seconds in this one. Over Garda, though, the scene of the accident towards the end of the other senior Rotax final, through Calf Curve and down through the 2 right-hand kinks of Conways and Henrys. The door looks very much open there, and it is. It certainly is for Bellini to the inside. Can Bowyer respond round the outside? The answer is no. No, Bellini got all the answers there and takes the lead of this race for the first time down the hill and into the heavy braking zone of Pullman's and into Paddock Bend and over Garda and down there through the centre chicane, now up through the Calf Curve, and quite the audience track side, as you can understand why, flicking it into the right hand side. Keep as much speed on as you can whilst keeping the stability of your car all sorted out underneath you, and then get it out of these 2 hairpins as best as you can across the chicanes, through the S's, flat right until there. A slight lift when you get to there, on the apex there, and braking hard into this part of the track. Bellini already starting to amass a bit of a buffer for himself. Needs no invitation to be doing that out of the front. Gaps now about 7/10 of a second. And is Bowyer going to be the one in this race to be the challenger, or is anyone else got the answer? Oh, who's pulling to the side there? Just coming into shot. There they are. They've got the kart going again. I'm not too sure if that's a more terminal problem. Goodness me. Trying to get out of the way. I think that's Jamie Salter down towards the back of the grid in the 27. Looked like a 27 number. Yeah. There it is, towards the, although was that the 27 who did the problem? Not too sure if that was the person going slow. I'm sure it'll all come out very soon. No, is it Billy Clark? I think I got my sevens mixed up. It was Billy Clark, the 37, who's alongside his other Clark on the grid. Starting 5th and 6th is going to see no further part in this one, and very much expect him to pull in the pits, or if it's just a momentary issue, get going again. But just to have some, what becomes pretty much a test session now, towards the back of the field, sadly. Meanwhile, Bellini, 0.8 of a second, out in front of Bill Bowyer, who, well, now nearly getting towards a second, 0.9 of a second it's flicked up to as they cross the start-finish line. Not really going to see much more in this one, I don't think, from Bellini. Bowyer no match to Bellini out front, setting the pace. I mean, we're 0.2 of a second quicker already, and we're only about halfway through this part of the race. I'm not sure you can just throw it around the outside there to try and then gain a little bit of a better position. But that was Lewis Deacon, I think, trying to find a way past Jason Mills. Your 55, Jason Mills there you go. And in front of Jason Mills, there is Martin Mayer. They've all been up at the front there. Who got out of sorts there? I think got caught to the side. Who's going slow? Someone was definitely going slow there. Whether they just got bad momentum because they had to get out, take avoiding action from a driver in front of them. Meanwhile, here is Martin Mayer getting past up the inside in Garda from Jason Mills. So Jason Mills goes up to 5th place into the top 5 now with the likes of Clark, Moss, Mayer and Bellini. And there you go. Scantlebury is trying to put all of the pain from earlier on today to good use, up to 8th place in this one. Good scraps going on towards the bottom of the field as well, with Salter and Jenner. On your screen here though, here's the battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place. Mills, Mayer, Deacon, Scantlebury, all vying for those midfield positions, and the pride to take that away from here at Buckmore Park this weekend. Still nearly 3 wide into that turn there, with some of our drivers. Bellini in the lead, 1.6 seconds gap at the moment, will now extend out even more, I'm sure, in the next couple of sectors. Looking uncatchable out front right now. Bill Bowyer has got a 0.4 of a second gap to Oliver Moss. Maybe keep an eye on Oliver Moss throughout the rest of this race as well, to see how 2nd and 3rd is going to play out. There's your race leader though. There's Bellini. And as we come across the start-finish line, let's maybe hold the shot and see how big the gap is from Bellini. There it is now. And then, there you go. It's enough of a gap. It's nearly 2 seconds. And Bill Bowyer doing his best. I mean, probably driving the wheels off of his machine underneath him, but just can't compete with whatever masterstroke Bellini has got figured out around here. But this is an interesting battle that's starting to shape up a little bit. Bowyer and Oliver Moss, the gap between them, around about 0.4 of a second. So it's all there, really. It's all there for Oliver Moss to jump up the podium a little bit, if he can get these final few laps and really grow into the end game of this race, into the strategy playing out. And you can see that starting to plan out here. You know, dip it onto the anchors into hairpin 1 a little bit later than in front, and you've gained a 10th of a second right there. As long as you do everything else right, you've got all the chance in the world of being in the mix here towards the end of the race. But you bet that Oliver Moss is probably going to be doing all he can. Bowyer's going to respond at the same time, knows that Oliver Moss will be chasing him behind and trying to make the most of the slipstream that Bowyer is punching a hole in the air for him around these 1,000 metres here at Buckmore Park. But further back, there's Jason Mills, Martin Mayer, Lewis Deacon, Doug Jenner, all fighting between 5th down to 8th place in these 4 positions. It's a great scrap going on in the middle here. Jason Mills, though, got enough of a gap ahead of each other. They're sort of, the gap's kind of like equidistant between all of those drivers in that mid-pack now. Bill Bowyer's lost even more time to Taylor Bellini. It's now 2.2 seconds. Here's Bellini. There's Bowyer. And then here comes Oliver Moss, who is bringing that gap down ever so slightly at the front. It's still around about 4/10, but it's less of a 4/10 of a second than last time. I think it's shaved off about 0.02 of a second. So, I mean, it's very incremental, but it's all going to help. Just got to keep it all in a straight line. Really concentrate here. Has Bill Bowyer, because Oliver's going to be there to pounce, you bet, on the final lap, and is going to throw the kitchen sink at it. 40 seconds and a lap to go. By my calculations, we're going to get 3 more laps here at Buckmore Park. And into the second hairpin. Out we go there. Use the runoff as much as you would dare and not to unsettle your kart too much. Extend the width of the track means you can obviously take more speed out of the corner. The racing 101, you know. Try and maybe find a little bit of time hopping over some curbs if they're kind to your kart. If the kart you've got set up to attack those curbs aggressively doesn't respond and bite back to you in a negative way. 2 seconds on the clock plus 1 lap. We are going to get some additional laps here at Buckmore Park. Plenty more of a chance, but time running out for Oliver Moss to make a dent in Bill Bowyer's second place right now. Has he got any answer? Bellini's got the answer out front. 2.8 seconds. I don't think we have to worry about him. There he goes, just flying through your shot. Here is second and third. Bowyer runs out to the curb. I've noticed Oliver Moss likes to run out a bit wider there, try and straight line the turn a bit more. Bowyer brings it back across a bit sooner. Straight line in the corner there even more. Bellini, though, has taken the final lap board here. That car didn't sound good in the background, whatever that was on the sound. But Bellini is all doing what he needs to do to come out the first sector, down through the S's, down through the chicane, through Symes Sweet, down into Pullman's. Put on the brakes as much as you need to. Offer them straight away. Back on the power. Through Paddock Bend. Over Garda. Take the victory in your head here because you have absolutely rolled away with this one. 3 seconds ahead of the field. Taylor Bellini takes victory here at Buckmore Park in the Rotax 177 class. Bill Bowyer had the answers to Oliver Moss in the end. It's Bellini, Bowyer, Moss on the podium. Jason Mills finishes 4th in the end. Martin Meyer, Lewis Deacon, Scantlebury. Great drive from Scantlebury, who has bounced back onto a high in the rest of this weekend. Finishes in 7th from, well, basically, essentially not starting a lot of the races. Jamie Salter, Billy Clark, followed by, oh look, the 2 Clarks ended up with each other. Oh no, they didn't, because then Tom Davis come in and spoiled the party. Tom Davis is in a Clark sandwich. Billy Clark, Tom Davis, Adam Clark, Doug Jenner, Colin Walker, and Dan Wright further back, who obviously played not much of a part in that. Colin Walker or Dan, because they're about 9 or 10 laps down. Bellini, though, your race winner for Rotax 177. Well, there you go. That is our very first time here at Buckmore Park for the Summer Cup for the Champions Kart Club. It's all part of the potential of SlipStream. New for 2026 for Alpha Live, bringing you even more karting action thanks to you jumping on board as a SlipStream member, which means we can give more back to the world of grassroots karting and showcase more drivers from across all of these different championships and events right up and down the UK. It's been wonderful to be with you today here down in Kent at Buckmore Park. Hopefully we're back here very, very soon. My name is Jake Peach and we'll catch you very, very soon.